Welcome to this week's Pound for Pound ATL Think Tank. Hey, I'm Toby D, and you already know, if we think about it, we gonna talk about it. And today, man, I want to just stick with the Matt Ryan and Arthur Smith theme. As we watch these guys grow, training camp has started. They had a scrimmage on Saturday, which me and the guys were fortunate enough to be able to go and participate. And we had a good time. We're gonna talk about that on Wednesday. But before we get started talking about Matt Ryan and Arthur Smith, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please feel free to do so. We appreciate all the subscribers that we have out there, and make sure that you hit the notification bell as well so that you can be sure to get all the notifications of any videos that we put out. Football season is back, ladies and gentlemen. And I do want to say this. I apologize for anyone that has come up to me and has recognized me. Still trying to get used to that. And so if I have not been as receptive and stopping and really engaging with you all, I do apologize, because you all do not have to watch our videos as such as you do. Hey, and we do not take any of that for granted, because at the end of the day, we're just like you. We're fans. We just been blessed with a platform to talk about our Atlanta Falcons. And without further ado, let's get on into what I want to talk about. Like I say, you see these guys trying to grow, get a feel for each other. If you wasn't fortunate enough to be at that scrimmage, Matt Ryan went through listening through the microphone into his helmet with communication between him and Arthur Smith. The latest presser, Matt Ryan, spoke about how he's trying to get used to the voice of Arthur Smith, because this is a different voice that will be in his headphones in that helmet, and he has to get used to that in the play calling. But I think we can't judge anything right now, because it's not going to really be, to me, in my mindset, to those first 5 games of the season, when these two guys are able to really get a feel for how one sees defenses versus the other. Matt Ryan is going to have to trust what Arthur Smith sees, and Arthur Smith is going to have to trust that Matt Ryan is capable of really being able to do the things that he needs Matt Ryan to do. Speaking of the things that he wants Matt Ryan to do, we heard Arthur Smith during a presser not too long ago, just recently, mention about how they have Matt Ryan in a speed program. Now, Matt Ryan kind of shrugged it off a little bit by saying that it's mainly getting in the weight room with the guys and making sure that guys are able to do what is required in the offense. But you heard Arthur Smith jokingly talk about having, the new nuances of speed option and zone read plays and all of those things. And there are things that Matt Ryan is not really used to. Charles London mentioned about how him and Matt Ryan have had conversations in the past about things that Matt Ryan likes to do, the way he sees things, the way he would like to do things. And Charles London has had to let him know the way that they want to do things as well. And certain things that Arthur Smith wants and requires, that's what they're not going to accept the word no. And I'm just wondering, how much are they going to be expecting to get out of this 36-year-old Matt Ryan, who just turned 36 years old not too long ago? Because this is going to be very interesting. And one place I want to hone in on is Matt Ryan's ability to move and run outside of the pocket. Now, many of you know, if you looked at Matt Ryan's rushing stats over the years since he's been with the Atlanta Falcons in 2008, the most Matt Ryan has rushed is 147 yards. I think he had maybe 2 touchdowns that year, and that was, of course, under Dirk Cutter. Matt Ryan has not rushed too much more than that. He usually has done over 100 yards, maybe 4 seasons or 5 seasons out of his career. But Matt Ryan is typically not known as someone that is going to be a threat running the football. But what I'm interested in is to see if this is something that Arthur Smith is requiring, since you have this guy in a speed program with the new conditioning coach, Thomas Stallworth. Now, one thing that we know about Ryan Tannehill, and I got to give Adamski some credit for this, on Twitter, if you guys have not followed him, please follow him. He gives great knowledge on the Atlanta Falcons, man, going really in depth with the players and the skill positions on defense, offense, it doesn't matter. But he brought this up way back when we was having debate. Everybody was debating about, should the Atlanta Falcons take a quarterback at number 4? They should, because Matt Ryan is not younger. He's lost a touch on his throws and stuff like that. But he spoke about some of the things that Ryan Tannehill did. And one of the things Ryan Tannehill did well was he was a threat in the run game. You had to respect him, especially down in the end zone. Many of you may know this about Ryan Tannehill the last couple of years under Arthur Smith when he was the offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans, and you may not. But in the 2 seasons that he was with Arthur Smith, he had amassed 11 rushing touchdowns. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that again. 11 rushing touchdowns, 7 last year. Despite all the touchdowns that Derrick Henry got, who we know is a bona fide beast, and we don't have that type of beast on here. We're hoping that the running back group that we have, led by Mike Davis, is going to be good for the Atlanta Falcons, as we do anticipate and want to run the ball more under Arthur Smith. But do we know if we're going to be able to get that type of production out of Matt Ryan? Can we get Matt Ryan at 36 years old to run over 147 yards and average at least 200 yards and maybe 5 rushing touchdowns on the ground in the red zone? Because this is where you saw Tannehill be very dangerous down there in the red zone, being a threat in that department. Had 266 yards last season under Arthur Smith, before Arthur Smith came over here. Now, this is not the most Ryan Tannehill has had throughout his career. I believe he amassed 1 year 311 yards of rushing on the ground himself. But this is a guy that has shown he's a younger guy in his early 30s as opposed to Matt Ryan, and he did pose this threat. Now, I don't know if the Falcons are going to be requiring that. This is definitely a gamble for Arthur Smith, because just like his dad, who took the last bit of money that he had to keep FedEx going, if you haven't heard the story how he bet that money on blackjack and won enough money to fuel all of his planes that he needed to fuel in order to keep FedEx going, and now look at where FedEx is. And I compare that to Arthur Smith, because many of us fans were hoping that the Falcons would draft a quarterback. Now, of course, I was not one of them. I was with JR. I've advocated for Matt Ryan to stay here, just along with JR, because we felt like Matt Ryan still had a few more years and has a few more years left in him. But now, if you're going to require Matt Ryan to be more of a threat in the run game, now this definitely could help Matt Ryan keep the sacks down with the bootlegs that they're going to bring back to the table for Matt Ryan, the rollouts that they're going to bring back to the table. Wanting Matt Ryan to be more of a scrambler so that he's not taking unnecessary sacks. If he feels the pressure and he truly cannot find anyone down the field, because you know he's a traditional quarterback in that manner, he's not looking to run first. He's looking to hit someone down the field and get the ball out of his hands. But could there be times, which we've seen Matt Ryan do it before, he's run for first downs, where he is going to have to get out of the pocket? Is he going to be required to do that a little bit more, even at the age of 36? Because Arthur Smith is definitely believing that Matt Ryan has a little bit more gas left in the tank. But if you have Matt Ryan doing some of these things that you may be requiring of him to do this season, if you're looking to do speed option stuff with Matt Ryan, especially down there in the red zone, or if you're looking to do zone read type of stuff, which still requires the quarterback to make a decision to either run the ball or hand the ball off to the running back if need be. And we'll see if this is something they really are looking for Matt Ryan to do. And we're not going to know that until we get into week 1. But these are things I am definitely curious about, to see if these are some of the things they're going to be asking this Matt Ryan to do. I mean, you have this guy right now trying to really get himself in the best shape that he possibly can. And they, make no mistake about it, they are pushing Matt Ryan to the limit. And Matt Ryan has said himself, he does not mind being pushed, and he is willing to do anything it takes to win football games. And that may mean that he's going to have to become more of a threat to run the football at times for the Atlanta Falcons this season. That may mean he's going to be required to do a little bit more, not a Lamar Jackson type of thing, of course, but to do a little bit more zone read type of plays and speed option type of plays this season. I think it's going to be interesting for us to see as the fans if he's going to be able to pull something off like this, because we both know that Drew Brees was pulled off the field in order to bring a guy in like Taysom Hill to be able to run some of those things that Drew Brees was not one to be able to run. And I'm pretty sure Matt Ryan does not want to come off the field at any point in time and still feels like he is young enough to be able to pull off some of the things that Arthur Smith is going to want him to do. And I'm hoping it works out, man, because this gamble that Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot are making, going with Matt Ryan, however long they have him, they definitely am not wanting to bring a quarterback into a situation where that quarterback is not going to succeed. But you're going to need Matt Ryan to re-spark winning culture with the Atlanta Falcons, so that if you do decide you're going to bring another quarterback into this situation, you want to be able to continue that winning culture of success in the future. But you're going to need Matt Ryan in order to be able to do it. So I'm just hoping, man, these first 5 weeks that this is not going to be a situation where the gamble don't pay off for Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot like it paid off for Arthur Smith's dad, Frederick Smith. Other than that, man, that is all I got for my curiosity to see what Matt Ryan is really going to look like and what he's going to be expected to do come week 1 in those first 5 weeks of the season. Hey, please comment, like, share, subscribe, all those things you've been doing for us, man. Like I said, man, we are probably about 700 away from reaching our goal of 5,000 subscribers. Seems far, but it's very possible and capable to do with you guys if you continue to share, like, and comment. And I'm looking forward to you guys commenting on this, because this has been a continued debate and subject matter about our beloved Matt Ryan. Other than that, man, this is, like I said, pound for pounds, ATL Think Tank. I'm Toby D. Peace. I'm out.